They say the fastest way to someone's heart is through their stomach, and I will say that is true for me. It's been a while since we cooked, so why don't we get right to it? Let's go. Sup peeps, my name is Kirby, but you guys can call me Kirbz, and this is Cake Back with Kirbz. Today, we have made a beautiful, splendid feast, if you will. I always wanted to make vegan mac and cheese when I was not of the vegan-ish. I would always eat the mac and cheese that my mom made, and I tried to incorporate her recipe in what I've created today. So, hopefully you enjoy this little rendition, alternative vegan mac and cheese. I'll give my honest review afterwards and some suggestions that I might make, but let us dive in. So first off, our ingredients. It is pretty much the standard mac and cheese. You know, you have your cheese, which I did vegan cheese with this brand that is like Chio or it's there. But the cheese, we got our noodles. The seasonings that we used was pepper and this brand called Shifties, which is actually one of my cohort members' family's brand. What it consists of is paprika, salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, I believe, and then coffee, which makes it different and cool. But if you get the combination of the ingredients that are within it and add it, you should be of the good. So we have those basic ingredients. Now what may be a little different is the introduction of almond milk. I don't know about you guys, but normally you make like a cheese sauce with the milk and then the cheese, you melt the cheese in there and you put the seasoning. That's at least how my mom would do it, or how I've seen people do it. So that is what I did, and I added peppers and celery. Now celery is what my mom used to do all the time. Peppers I wanted to add because, you know, it has a little sweetness, you know, it has the texture. And for more texture, we have the bread crumbs. I believe that is all. If not, it'll pop up below. That is all that we use. And the two types of pans or pots that you need is just a regular pot and a regular pan. My pot has a strainer in it, which is really cool. And without further ado, let's just begin. So first, you must start off with boiling your water for your pasta. Now, I normally put salt and oil in it, or just oil, or just salt. But this time I didn't have oil, so we used salt, which was, I believe, in the ingredients. So you put your water to a boil, wait until it's bubbling, like volcanic, like lava, add your salt to it, and then in this time, you will take your veggies. We got our celery and our pepper. First, you have to wash that off. I'd recommend using vinegar, or very light vinegar and water, and also there is hydrogen peroxide that you would use to properly clean it off, because there can be stuff on your veggies and you should clean it. Also your meats, you should clean your meats as well. So just make sure you clean that before chopping her up, which I did. They were pretty small pieces, you know, half an inch if you will, just so you don't choke on it in your mac and cheese. But you're gonna keep that to the side after you have chopped that up. Next, we worked on our cheese sauce. Now I didn't use measuring cups because I'm normally a I person, but if it was to be measured, I would say about 2 cups of milk, or in this case, almond milk, into the pot. Let that boil a bit, but not really boil, so I guess a simmer. You want to see some bubbles, but you don't want it like volcano like the water. Anyway, put your milk in there. Then you add half of the cheese that you want. You're going to let it heat up. You're going to stir it around. As you see, it gets a little milky, if you will. It's like disintegrating, dissolving, if you will. And then you add more cheese, the other half of your cheese throughout, and then it gets a little thick. After that, you're gonna add your seasoning. So mine was pepper and Shifties. I added a little more almond milk just so that the consistency wouldn't be as thick as I wanted it to be a little more saucy than thick-y, if you will. And that is our sauce. Now our water should have been boiling by now. So put your pasta in there. Only put it in when it's boiling. It'll cook better and faster and more evenly. So that is getting boiled and cooked. And once that's ready, drain it out, put your pasta back in there. Also, your cheese sauce, if you will, should be off at this moment. It should be done. Once it's dissolved, you turn it off, and it kind of just sits there for a bit. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour your cheese sauce into your pasta, mix it up, make sure it's thoroughly sauced, and then you're gonna add your celery and peppers to the equation. You add them together. And also, going back a bit, I saved a little bit of the pasta water, because I saw a lot of people do this in some cooking videos. A little bit of the pasta water and put it in the cheese sauce. Or you can leave just a little water in the actual pot that you had the spaghetti noodles in, the pasta noodles in, the macaroni and cheese noodles in, and then when you add the sauce, it kind of gets a little less thick, if you will. But adding it like adds a flavor of the noodles in there, and also a little bit of the salt, because I don't know if you noticed, but my cheese sauce is very sweet. It had sweet almond milk. Vegan cheese is generally like sweet, so overall that was sweet, and you got the salty. Put it together, you're of the good. So doing that, mixing it, all of the good. Next, you're gonna take your mac and cheese and you're gonna pan it. Now I have these like baby pans, so I'm gonna really do like the layers of cheese, if you will. So it's kind of like a one layered cheese tower, and we have 2 of those, which you'll see. Put the mac and cheese in the pan, then sprinkle some cheese on top. Now let me say this right now, vegan cheese is very hard to melt, so when you see it later, it might look exactly the same-ish, but it's cooked. Promise. Put your cheese on top, and then you take your breadcrumbs. Now I will state now, the brand that I use, the version I use, it does have some milk in it. That is why I'm vegan-ish. Sometimes I do eat things that do have milk in it. It just happens. And I eat fish. That's why I'm veganish. I eat the fish. But anyway, pour it on the top. I would recommend maybe getting like crunchier, thicker breadcrumbs. This is more of like a dust. I would say to get the actual crumbs. That's my suggestion. But anyway, you take that and you put it in your oven. Now I had it at about 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. I broiled it to try to melt the cheese on top. Didn't really work out. Then I broiled it for about 2 minutes, and then I left it in there for another 5 minutes. So in total, that's like 17 minutes later. And then we took the babies out, and you see that the breadcrumbs have gotten crisp on the top. Mwah. And that the vegan cheese did not melt. But now you can see I've plated it. I try to make it look pretty for you all. I put a third of pepper on there. I put some celery on there. It's beautiful. It's on the glass plate. Anyway, you love it. That's exactly what you want to see. And that's my vegan mac and cheese. Now we're going to move on to some of the suggestions that I learned after making my vegan mac and cheese. Now, one, honestly, it was pretty good for my first time making vegan mac and cheese from scratch. I normally just buy the microwavable versions, or I get the ones that are at the restaurant if they have vegan mac and cheese. So this was an accomplishment for me with my first vegan mac and cheese, baby. But some updates I will say is you might want to create a little more cheese sauce. So I said that it was about 2 cups of milk that I did, and they like are generally kind of small cheese bags. So I would say up that to about 3 cups of milk, and then 1.5 bags of cheese, and then seasoning and all this stuff is the same, just to make it saucier because it seemed to dry out a little bit. Maybe I left it into the oven too long, but yeah, that's my little suggestion. And like I was stating a little earlier, maybe getting actual crumbed breadcrumbs, but still I would say an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good for vegan cheese items. Overall, I hope you enjoy exploring this new way of food, this veganish, if you will. Definitely have more of these going on. I also have videos from before, like some quick snacks that you can make that you should definitely check out. And if you want me to make something, leave it in the comment section. I'm very open to food because food has my heart. If you like this video and like to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you think I did a good job, give me a thumbs up so I know how I'm doing. But until next time, adios for now.